welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise and give you clear, actionable insights, that aha moment without the info dump. And today, we're tackling something absolutely essential for everyone online: digital security. Specifically, how to move your online life from, well, kind of vulnerable to actually resilient, and maybe with less hassle than you think. Today's deep dive, it's called What Most People Miss When Setting Up 2FA. Because, turning on two-factor authentication is one thing. Making sure it really protects you when you need it, that's another story.
That's exactly it. Passwords alone, no matter how complex you make them, they're just not cutting it anymore. We see it constantly. Breaches, phishing scams, credential stuffing,
Right.
two-factor authentication, 2FA. It's not just some nice-to-have feature. It's really the essential second layer of defense everyone needs. Without it, even a great password is just waiting to be bypassed, a single point of failure.
Okay, so our mission today is clear.
Yeah.
We want to give you that shortcut, that clear roadmap, not just to understand 2FA, but to set it up the right way, focusing on those key bits people often, well, miss. You'll leave knowing exactly what to do and, importantly, why it matters so much. All right, let's unpack this then. We throw around 2FA a lot. What exactly is it?
Yeah, good question. Simply put, it's just adding an extra step when you log in, something beyond just your password. Think of it like needing 2 different keys for your front door instead of 1.
Okay.
It combines something you know that's your password with either something you have, like your phone, or maybe a little USB key, or even something you are, like your fingerprint or your face scan.
Biometrics, right.
Exactly. And the real power comes from needing both. An attacker needs your password, and they need to physically have that second thing, your phone or key. That dramatically ramps up the security.
Right, because getting both is much harder.
Way harder. Let's paint a picture. Scenario 1, no 2FA. Attacker gets your password, maybe from some old data breach. Boom, they log in. From anywhere. They can take over the account, change your password, lock you out.
Nightmare scenario.
Total nightmare. And recovery, often incredibly difficult, sometimes impossible. Now, scenario 2. You've got 2FA enabled. Same situation. Attacker gets the password, tries to log in.
But this time?
This time, they hit that 2FA prompt, enter the code from your phone, or plug in your key. They can't. They're stopped right there.
Oh, okay.
Your account stays safe. And here's a really key benefit people miss. You get a notification, a heads up, that someone tried to log in.
So you know something's up immediately.
Precisely, early warning.
That's where it gets really interesting. It's not just about stopping someone guessing your password. What most people maybe don't grasp is how broad the protection is. Like you mentioned credential stuffing, where they take passwords stolen from one place and just try them everywhere else. 2FA stops that cold.
Completely. And phishing, too. Those tricky emails trying to get you to log into a fake site.
Yeah, they look so real sometimes.
They do. But even if you slip up and enter your password, they still can't get past the 2FA step without your device. It even helps against things like keyloggers sometimes.
So it's like a multi-layered shield, really.
Exactly. But, and this is crucial, not all 2FA methods are created equal. There's definitely a hierarchy of protection.
Okay, so let's break that down. What's the baseline?
The most basic, and probably most common, is SMS text messages. You get a one-time code sent to your phone via text.
Right, I use that for a few things.
And look, it's definitely better than just a password. Way better. But, and this is the big but most people miss, it's vulnerable to something called SIM swapping.
I've heard about that. Sounds nasty.
It is. An attacker basically tricks your phone company into moving your number to their SIM card. Then they get your texts, including your 2FA codes.
Wow. Okay, so SMS is basic, but flawed. What's better?
A significant step up is using authenticator apps. Think Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, Authy. There are several good ones. These generate what are called time-based one-time passwords, or TOTPs, those 6-digit codes that change every 30 seconds or so.
Right, I have one of those apps.
The big advantage is they work offline, don't need cell service. And crucially, they're not vulnerable to SIM swapping. The codes are generated right there on your device.
Okay, so authenticator apps are much stronger than SMS.
Definitely. Strong protection.
And then you mentioned a pinnacle.
Yes, the top tier maximum protection comes from hardware security keys. These are physical devices, often look like little USB sticks, or sometimes use NFC or Bluetooth.
Like a YubiKey or Google Titan key.
Exactly those. What makes them the gold standard is their resistance to phishing. It's remarkable, actually. They don't just supply a code. The key itself verifies the website's actual address, the URL, before it authenticates.
Oh, interesting. So a fake site can't trick the key.
Pretty much impossible. The key knows it's not talking to the legitimate site. Plus, you need the physical key present. You can't phish that over the internet.
So that's why you call them the gold standard.
Yeah.
Essentially phishing proof.
Correct.
And you mentioned they cost, what, $20 to $50 typically?
Mm-hmm.
For your really critical accounts, that seems like a very worthwhile investment for that level of security.
Absolutely. For things like your main email, bank accounts, password manager, it's peace of mind.
Okay, so this is all great info, but what does it mean for you listening right now? How do you actually apply this?
Right, let's get practical.
First step has to be identifying your most critical accounts. Where do you start?
Everyone thinks bank accounts first, and yes, they're vital.
Sure.
But what many people overlook is their primary email account. Think about it. That email is often the key to resetting passwords for everything else.
Ah, good point. The recovery email.
Exactly. Secure that one first. It's job number one.
Okay, primary email first.
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
Then definitely your financial accounts, banking, investments, any crypto exchanges you use.
Makes sense. Money stuff.
Yep. And then your cloud storage, Google Drive, Dropbox, iCloud, wherever you keep important documents, photos, backups.
Right, your digital filing cabinet.
Precisely. After those top three, think about social media, especially if it's linked to other things. Work accounts, government sites like tax portals, and definitely your password manager if you use one.
Okay, that's a clear priority list. Email, financial, cloud storage. Then the rest.
Mm-hmm. And setting it up is usually pretty straightforward on major platforms. For Google, you'd go to your account settings, look for security, then two-step verification.
Okay.
Microsoft is similar. Account settings, security, then advanced security options. Apple ID, same idea. Check account security on the Apple ID site.
And banks or financial institutions?
They vary a bit more. Usually login, find security, profile, or account settings. Look for terms like two-factor authentication, 2FA, or security code. And here's a tip, something people miss sometimes. If you don't see the option clearly online for your bank, don't just assume they don't offer it. Call their official customer service number. Sometimes they have it, but it's just not prominently displayed on the website or app. Worth asking.
Good tip. Okay, let's talk about using those authenticator apps. They generate those codes that change all the time.
Yep. The TOTP code's usually refreshing every 30 seconds.
How does the setup work generally?
Pretty easy. You download the app you want, Google, Authenticator, Authy, whatever. Then on the website you're securing, when you enable 2FA, it'll usually show you a QR code.
Like a square barcode thingy?
Exactly. You scan that QR code with your Authenticator app. The app then starts generating the codes for that specific account.
Yeah.
You'll usually enter one code immediately to confirm it's working. And then this is the part people really miss or skip. The service will almost always give you a set of backup codes.
Ah, the emergency codes.
Yes. Save those immediately. We'll talk more about how to save them securely in a bit, but don't skip that step.
Got it. And you mentioned a pro tip about password managers.
Yeah, this is super handy. Many good password managers, like 1Password or Bitwarden, for example, now have built-in support for generating these 2FA codes.
Oh, cool. So you don't need a separate app.
Right. You can store your password and have the manager generate the 2FA code all in one place. It's encrypted, secure, and really convenient. Streamlines things quite a bit.
Nice. Okay, so authenticator apps are strong, but you said hardware keys are the gold standard. Remind us why they're so much better again.
It really comes down to that phishing resistance. Because the key verifies the website's address cryptographically.
The URL.
Right. It simply won't authenticate you to a fake site. Phishing scams that rely on fake login pages just don't work against a hardware key using the right standard, like FIDO2 or WebAuthn. Plus, they can't be copied remotely like a code could theoretically be intercepted. Malware on your computer generally can't steal the key's secrets. It requires that vertical touch or presence.
Okay, so if I'm thinking about getting one, what should I look for?
Good question. Consider the connection type you need. Do your devices use USB-A, the older rectangle one, or USB-C, the newer small oval one? Do you want NFC for tapping on your phone? Maybe Bluetooth?
Right, compatibility matters.
Definitely. And look for support for the FIDO2 or WebAuthn standards. That's the modern, most phishing-resistant protocol most new keys support it. Then just think about the form factor. Tiny one for a keychain, slim one for a wallet. Choose what works for you. YubiKey, Google Titan, Thetis. There are several reputable brands. Prices usually range from, say, $20 up to maybe $80 for more advanced ones.
And setting one up, is it complicated?
Surprisingly, no. First, you buy the key. Then, you might need to register it with your computer's operating system first. Windows, Hello or macOS login settings sometimes use them.
Okay.
After that, you go into the security settings of the specific account you want to protect your email, your bank, whatever. Choose the option to add a security key. It'll prompt you to insert or tap your key. Follow the instructions, maybe touch the button on the key. Give it a name so you know which key it is, like my main YubiKey.
Simple enough?
Yep. And then, super important, test it immediately. Log out, log back in using the key. Make sure it works.
Test. Got it.
But here's the absolutely critical step that, again, so many people miss with hardware keys.
Let me guess. Backups.
You got it. You must set up at least one alternative backup method, whether it's an authenticator app, SMS, if that's all they offer, or ideally saving those backup tabs.
Because if you lose that one physical key,
You are locked out, potentially permanently. I remember hearing about someone who lost their phone and their only security key was on their keychain. Locked out of their main email for weeks trying to prove their identity. It was a disaster. Don't let that be you. Have a backup plan.
okay, that really drives it home.
Yeah,
Which brings us perfectly to the backup codes themselves. You've mentioned them a few times as being critical.
absolutely. This is probably the single biggest thing people miss or mess up when setting up 2FA, those backup codes. When you enable 2FA, most services give you maybe 8 or 10 single-use codes. Think of them as emergency keys.
Right. Use them once and they're gone.
Exactly. They're your lifeline if you lose your phone, if your authenticator app gets wiped, if your security key breaks or gets lost. I really can't overstate this.
Yeah.
Without those backup codes saved somewhere safe, losing your main 2FA device can mean losing access to your account forever. Seriously.
Message received. Backup codes are non-negotiable. So how do you store them securely? What are the good options?
You've got a few solid choices, both digital and physical. Digitally, the best place is probably inside your password manager. Most good ones have secure note fields or specific spots for things like this. It's encrypted along with your passwords.
Okay, password manager is option 1.
Or you could put them in an encrypted file using something like Veracrypt or built-in OS encryption and store that file maybe on secure cloud storage or an external drive. A secure notes app with end-to-end encryption could also work.
Got it. Encrypted digital storage. What about physical?
Physical can be great too. Print them out. Store the printout in a home safe.
Simple enough?
Or write them down carefully in a dedicated notebook that you keep locked away securely.
Yeah.
For super critical accounts, maybe even a safety deposit box at a bank.
Okay, and what about emergency access, like if something happens to me?
That's a really important consideration most people don't think about. You could put a sealed envelope with the codes for, say, your primary email with a very trusted family member or your lawyer. Maybe split the codes between 2 trusted people, or keep them with your will and other important end-of-life documents.
Smart planning.
Ugh.
Now, crucially, where should you never keep these codes? What are the big no-nos?
Oh yeah, definitely never store them in just a plain text file on your computer's desktop. That's asking for trouble.
Right, unencrypted.
Never keep them physically in the same place as your authentication device. Don't put the printout in your phone case or tape it to your laptop where your security key plugs in. Defeats the purpose.
Common sense, but easily overlooked.
Definitely don't just type them into your phone's regular notes app, usually not encrypted properly. And please don't take them to your monitor or under your keyboard.
Okay, seems obvious when you say it. So, storing codes is vital. What about a broader recovery plan?
Yes, beyond just the codes. Most people set up 2FA and kind of forget about it. You need a plan for when things go wrong, because eventually they might.
What does that look like?
It means documenting things. For each important account, write down, what's my primary 2FA method, app.key.sms? What are the backup methods enabled? Backup codes, recovery email security questions.
Right.
Where are those backup codes stored? What are the linked recovery email addresses and phone numbers? Make sure they're current.
Creating like a little cheat sheet for your future self.
Exactly. And actively set up those recovery options. Add a trusted contact if the service allows. Link a secondary secure email address you don't use for everyday stuff. Verify your phone numbers. Understand the official recovery process for each critical service before you need it.
And then test it.
Absolutely test it. This is another step most people miss. Try logging in using one of your backup methods. Use one of those backup codes, just one, to make sure they work. Most services will then prompt you to generate a new set of codes, which is good practice anyway.
Ah, okay. So using one doesn't leave you short.
Right. And send a test message to your recovery email addresses to make sure you actually receive them. A simple document, maybe a spreadsheet, listing account, primary 2FA, backup method, code location recovery, contact email. That can save you so much panic later.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, let's shift gears slightly and tackle some common worries or challenges people have. The big one. What if I lose my phone or get a new one?
Huge concern, yeah. And it trips people up. If you're using an Authenticator app, thankfully it's gotten easier. Newer versions of Google Authenticator have a transfer accounts feature to move them to a new phone. Microsoft Authenticator can back up to your Microsoft account if you enable that. Authy has its own backup system linked to your phone number and a backup password.
So there are built-in ways if you plan ahead.
Yes, planning ahead is key. If you didn't plan ahead and you lose your phone,
Ugh.
well, that's where those backup codes become absolutely vital. You use a code to log in, then you can set up 2FA on your new device.
And if you don't have the codes,
Then you're falling back on other recovery methods, recovery email, maybe answering security questions if they still use those. Worst case, you're contacting customer support and going through potentially lengthy identity verification. Backup codes avoid all that pain.
okay. What about traveling? If you're somewhere without good internet or reliable phone service, that could mess up SMS or even some app functions.
Another excellent point people often overlook until they're stuck abroad. Preparation is everything here. Before you travel, print out backup codes for essential services. Make sure your Authenticator app works offline. Most do for generating codes. Consider getting a cheap, dedicated travel security key you keep separate. Maybe temporarily add a trusted family member back home as a recovery contact for critical accounts.
Good pre-trip checklist.
During your trip, rely on those offline Authenticator apps. Keep any printed codes separate from your primary devices, maybe one copy in your carry-on, one in checked luggage if you check bags. A cheap secondary phone just for authentication isn't a bad idea either.
Smart separation. Okay, how about managing this stuff for family? Elderly parents, kids, partners. It can seem complex.
It adds a layer, for sure. For elderly relatives who might struggle with tech, set up an Authenticator app on their device, but provide very clear, simple, maybe large print instructions. Crucially, keep a secure copy of their backup codes yourself. Document their recovery options clearly for them and for you.
Okay, be the backup for them.
Exactly. For kids, use family account features where possible for supervision. Enable 2FA on their accounts, but ensure you, as the parent, also have access or recovery control. Maybe start them with simpler methods like SMS if appropriate for their age and the account's sensitivity, then transition to apps as they get older.
Right, age-appropriate security.
And for spouses or partners, a shared secure location for critical family backup codes is smart, like a family password manager vault or a home safe everyone knows the combo to. Document recovery methods for each other. It avoids panic if one person is unavailable or, worse, incapacitated.
Good communication and shared planning. Makes sense. Now, what about those annoying services that still don't offer good 2FA? Some only have SMS, or worse, nothing at all.
Ugh, yeah, that's frustratingly common. If a service only offers SMS 2FA, well, enable it. It's still significantly better than just a password.
Better than nothing.
Right. But be aware of the SIM swapping risk. One less common tip. Consider getting a Google Voice number or similar VoIP number just for these SMS codes. It's generally harder to SIM swap a VoIP number than a standard carrier number. Also, put a PIN on your actual SIM card.
Ah, interesting workaround with Google Voice. And the SIM PIN, good reminder. What if there's no 2FA option at all?
Then you absolutely must use an extremely strong, unique password for that service, generated by your password manager. No exception.
Maximum password strength.
And honestly, if it's a service holding sensitive data and they don't offer 2FA in this day and age, seriously, consider finding an alternative provider who takes security more seriously.
Vote with your feet.
Pretty much. Keep checking back, though, maybe quarterly. Services do add features sometimes. And limit the amount of sensitive information you store or share through services with poor security.
Right, minimize your exposure there. Okay, for people who really want to level up their security game, are there more advanced strategies?
Absolutely. A really smart approach that most people don't think about is using a tiered security system.
Tiered, meaning different levels for different accounts.
Exactly. Not every account needs Fort Knox level security with a hardware key. That might be overkill for, say, a forum login. Define your Tier 1, your absolute most critical accounts. Primary email, password manager, main financial accounts, primary cloud storage. These get the maximum protection, ideally a hardware security key.
Okay, Tier 1, hardware keys.
Tier 2, important but maybe slightly less critical. Social media, secondary email accounts, major online shopping sites, most work accounts. These are perfect candidates for strong protection via an authenticator app.
Tier 2, authenticator apps.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And Tier 3, lower risk accounts. Forums, news subscriptions, streaming services, things where a compromise would be annoying but not catastrophic. For these, SMS or even just a very strong password might be acceptable, depending on your risk tolerance.
Tier 3, SMS or strong password. That framework seems really practical, matching the security level to the actual risk.
It avoids unnecessary friction while still protecting what matters most. Another advanced tactic, mainly for the super security conscious or those in high-risk roles, is a security key rotation schedule.
Rotating keys, like changing locks.
Kind of, yeah. Maybe every 1-2 years, you buy a new primary security key. Register it with all your important services, keep the old one as a backup during the transition. Once the new one is fully set up and tested everywhere, you go back and deregister the old key from your accounts.
Keeps things fresh, reduces risk if an old key was somehow compromised or cloned, maybe.
Precisely. It's also smart to do this after specific events, like a known security breach related to a service you use, after extensive international travel, maybe if company keys are involved and staff changes, or even if you had a physical security issue at home.
Proactive security hygiene, I like it.
You can also think about using different types of 2FA for different situations or contexts.
How so?
Well, for your daily personal stuff, maybe the Authenticator app on your phone plus biometrics is super convenient and secure enough. For your work accounts, perhaps you use a dedicated hardware key that stays at the office, or a completely separate Authenticator app instance just for work stuff, keeps work and personal separate.
Good for compartmentalization.
When you travel, you rely on that backup key you packed, your offline Authenticator app, and those printed codes you stored securely. For shared family accounts, maybe you use a method that's easier for everyone to access securely, like a code generator within a shared family password manager alongside that documented recovery plan we talked about.
Tailoring the method to the context.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Ultimately, the big takeaway here is that cybersecurity, and 2FA as part of it, isn't a set it and forget it thing. It requires ongoing attention. It needs to be a practice, a habit.
Okay, so how do we make it a sustainable habit? What does that look like day to day or month to month?
Good question. Daily, it's simple. Pay attention to 2FA prompts. If you get one you weren't expecting, that's a red flag. Investigate it. Don't just approve things blindly. Verify the source.
Be mindful. Okay.
Weekly, maybe take 60 seconds to glance at the activity logs for your most critical accounts, like Google, Microsoft. Look for any suspicious login attempts. Check that your Authenticator apps are working, your key is recognized.
Great check-in.
Monthly? This is a good rhythm. Export a fresh set of backup codes for your Tier 1 accounts and store them securely, replacing the old ones. And, as we said, maybe test one of those new backup codes just to be absolutely sure your recovery process works. Also, do a quick check. Have any services you use added better 2FA options since you last looked?
Monthly refresh and test. I like that cadence.
Yeah, it keeps things current without being overwhelming.
And, as you get comfortable with this yourself, maybe think about paying it forward. Security is kind of a community effort, isn't it?
Absolutely. Offer to help a friend or family member set up their first Authenticator app. Walk them through saving backup codes. Share your own positive experiences. Hey, setting this up took 10 minutes, and now I feel so much safer.
Demystify it for others.
Exactly. Maybe even create a super simple checklist or guide for people you know who are less tech-savvy. Every person who enables strong 2FA makes the ecosystem a little bit safer for everyone.
That's a great perspective.
And finally, just stay informed. Things change fast in security. Follow reliable sources, maybe government cybersecurity agencies like NIST in the US or reputable nonprofits like the EFF. Review your own setup periodically, maybe every quarter or twice a year. Are your methods still considered strong? Are there new, better options like passkeys becoming more mainstream? Test them out when they're ready. It's a continuous learning process.
Okay, wow. We have covered a ton of ground. Hopefully, we've made 2FA feel less like some scary technical thing and more like a really achievable, essential security upgrade. If I had to boil it down, the core message seems to be 2FA transforms your security from fragile to resilient. Even if someone gets your password, that second factor is your crucial defense. It stops them.
That's the essence of it. And that initial setup time, maybe 60 seconds per account once you know what you're doing, that small investment protects you from potentially hundreds of hours of misery trying to recover a hacked account, not to mention potential financial losses. It's probably the single highest return on investment security action you can take.
So let's give people some concrete next steps. What can you listening right now actually do? How about this? Today, take 15 minutes. Seriously, just 15 minutes. Go enable 2FA on your primary email account now. Download a reputable authenticator app, Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, Authy, etc. Find and save those backup codes somewhere safe, even if it's just writing them down securely for now.
Perfect start. Then, this week, maybe find another 30 minutes. Add 2FA to your main bank account and your password manager. Start documenting your recovery methods. Where are codes? What's the recovery email? Test logging in with 2FA on one of those accounts.
Okay, building momentum. And this month, maybe allocate an hour total. Roll out 2FA to your other important accounts, cloud storage, social media, etc. Seriously, consider buying that hardware security key, especially for your email and password manager. Create that more formal recovery documentation we talked about.
Excellent plan. And then it's about ongoing maintenance. Make it a habit. Add 2FA immediately when you sign up for a new service. Do that quarterly review. Check methods. Update codes if needed. Do that quarterly review. Test your recovery process at least once a year. Do that quarterly review. And importantly, share what you've learned. Help one other person get set up. Advocate for better 2FA at work or with services you use.
Fantastic. Any final thought to leave people with?
Just this. Don't wait until you have a security incident to suddenly realize how valuable two-factor authentication is. Don't wait for the panic. Set it up now. Implement it now while things are calm, while you're in control of the process. It's infinitely better than trying to figure this stuff out during the stress and chaos of an account recovery. Protect yourself today. Your future self will definitely thank you.